Welcome to Radio Boomers Live, the show about all things human from a baby boomer's perspective. All things hot and all things not. News, reviews, interviews, chat, tech, and what's next. And here are your hosts, Reatha Gray from Betty White's Off Their Rockers and Easy's dad, Jim Zuley. Good morning, Radio Boomers Live audience.
Good morning, Reatha, and we're rocking and rolling in 2021, aren't we? Wow.
It's the new year.
It's moving and grooving, and I'll tell you, I think it's going to be a good year. You know, I mean, it ended a little rough and rocky, but I think we're on our way to a good year. I mean, everybody's it's a country that adapts and it finds solutions, you know. And
I hope so.
I'm being positive, Reese. You got to back me up here. You got to say, yeah,
okay.
Right.
Well, I think positively we should go into hot topics.
Hot topic time already. All right, let's do it. See what's in the news. And there you go.
Ripped from the headlines. Today's hot topic. Well, I will start off with something hopefully positive. There is a limited series out by Shonda Rhimes on Netflix called Bridgerton. And ladies, you need to watch Bridgerton. In this time of just trouble and stress and just want to be somewhere else, Bridgerton is the place to go. It's a limited series that Shonda Rhimes adopted from a series of romance novels. And ladies, I'm talking serious romance novels here. It's on Netflix. It's, I think, 8 episodes. It's great for binge watching. It's great for just being in another time and another place. So when you want to do something and get away from what's going on in the world today, check out Bridgerton. The stars of it are lovely men and women. It's back in the age of kings and queens and ladies and knights, and it's just a really good watch, ladies. Man, I'm sure you could enjoy it too, but ladies, really, this is it's written by women, and it's produced by women, and it's just a lovely, lovely story. So that's my good hot topic. My other hot topic is vaccines. I don't want to say it's bad. I hate shots. So any shot is bad as far as I'm concerned. But the vaccines are out. They're rolling them out. If you're over 65, you need to find out where and when you can get your shots, because you're the next group that's available for them. But in the meantime, continue to wear your mask. And even if you get the vaccine, continue to wear your mask. Stay 6 feet apart. We all want to see 2022, don't we? So let's do everything we can to stay safe and to stay healthy. Jim, what's your hot topic?
Yeah, that's right. We got to stay safe, stay healthy. People are adding up their debt for the holidays, and a lot of people shopped online, and it was about a 60% increase there. So they have put together budgets, and there's a lot of information out, but a lot of it was done on credit cards. Some people paid as they went, so that's good news. But they have a lot of people out there that are helping you get through this. And what you have to do is research the interest rates on your cards. A lot of on real times at the Capitol, and they're finding out that a lot of the Trump supporters were supporting, and a lot of the people that did the damage were people that were not Trump supporters. And they're investigating that now, so we'll see what happens. Pelosi losing face for her efforts to impeach Trump. A lot of people, a big percentage of the country doesn't want that to happen. So And U.S., we have top concerns for this. Some of the people in this security departments are China. Leslie Stahl confronts Pelosi on her stimulus check obstruction, but the stimulus checks, according to the IRS, the Treasury announced that the stimulus payments would be starting via direct deposits December 29th. So some of you may already be getting this stuff. $2,000 for a single person, and you have to check and see. Married couples will be a lot more. I think it's double. But check your amounts, and you can go to a government site and see if you don't receive your funds, you can check with them. Scientists want they want to change something. It sounds kind of complicated to me. They want to change the minute to 59 seconds. They believe it'll be the best way to register time. To me, it sounds like they're going to have to change a lot of clocks. 200 billion wiped out. Definitely, it looks. I'm looking over this. Like, are you kidding? 200 billion wiped off cryptocurrency market in 24 hours as Bitcoin pulls back. Wow. I don't know about that stuff. I mean, I know a lot of people going into it, but I don't understand it, so I'm not going to comment about it. Stimulus on our way, and like I said, you guys check with the IRS sites and see where that's going, because then there's another an investment group that says it won't be out till February. Interest rates on homes really low. There's rumors that they might go up in some later in the year, but we're looking at 2.26. Now that's and then a 15-year is 2.2% if you can handle a 15-year, but payments are going to be higher. But overall, easier to qualify if you have a lower rate because your payments are lower. But then again, it's qualifying that sometimes can be difficult. You have to have enough income and credit score. I think you're looking at 650 or higher. You want to be in the 7% range. Going into 2021 with over 3,000 adults survey, over 38% said they will spend their time in, overlooking a survival mode, keeping things straight, watching the budget, keeping some money in the bank. It's a good time to have a little money in the bank for backup. Stock up on things in case anything happens. It's always good to stock up in case there's a shortage, but don't overdo it, because I did that and I wound up with too much stuff. Too many turkeys in the oven or chickens in the freezer, I'll put it that way. Reatha, how long can you keep a chicken in the freezer?
I'm one of those people that as long as it doesn't have freezer burn, it's good to me.
So a year is
okay?
okay?
To ask.
Years okay. So we're not looking at Reatha cook time. Advice from Reatha. No, that's not the show we're going to be looking at. All right. So with that commercial, and we'll see, we're going to have an interesting guest today.
Time for that.
Are you tired of doing business the hard way? Is building your business taking too much time and energy? We can help. Introducing your ultimate solution, EZWAY Business Membership. We're a full-service digital marketing solution specializing in branding and marketing, advertising, and introductions to CEOs and influencers that can help your business thrive. Problem solved. Now you can hire our award-winning team to work for your business. We've received many prestigious awards, including the Digital Trailblazer Award by Hollywood Weekly magazine, and we've been recognized by Congress. For just $11 a day, you'll get more exposure, reach more clients by next month, guaranteed. Here's how it works. You pay one low annual fee of $4,000, and you'll receive consulting, branding, marketing, advertising, social media support, product placement, and business introductions to help your business grow exponentially. And if you need more, we offer SEO, commercial, TV exposure, and much more for an additional rate. To recap, for just $11 a day annual membership fee, you'll receive branding, consulting, business-to-business introductions, advertising, and social media support. But don't take our word for it. Here's what our customers say.
We've been working with EZWAY, Eric, for the last 6 months, and literally we are slammed with work for 2 months straight, so his marketing definitely works.
To learn more, visit EZWayNetwork.com or contact us at 877-399-2929. And don't forget to follow us on social media. On Facebook at EZWay Network, Twitter at EZWay Broadcast, and YouTube at EZWay TV.
The BrainTap is a unique headset that combines light and sound frequencies with guided meditations. Dr. Patrick Porter, inventor of BrainTap and member of our faculty, has created 20 to 30-minute course reviews for many of our courses. Before starting a course or at any point before taking the exam, you can put on your BrainTap, close your eyes, and begin your course review. Brain tapping guides your mind from an awake, reactionary mind into an intuitive, creative state, then to a place where super learning and healing can occur, with the outcome being a heightened state of consciousness with crystal clear focus. Relax with scientifically proven techniques that create a symphony of brainwave activity, a feeling of calm focus that's just right for learning and productivity. Each session is designed with brainwave balance in mind. Some audio sessions have dual voice processing, which means you may hear two voices speaking at the same time. This technique is used for inspiring left and right brain balance.
And we're back.
I think Reatha and I should tap in the brain tap and get our brains circulated. Get sharper.
Absolutely.
We got to get sharper with brain tap. But we have a very interesting and intriguing guest today. He's donated his life to helping others, and I want to bring him on. A U.S. law enforcement first responder and athletic trainer with over 20 years' experience. Works with a top team of law enforcement leaders, coaches, athletes, and trainers that make us at Safer Schools Foundation with the mission of keeping our youth in schools and in communities as safe as possible while building strong characters in youth, which is very important. So talking about an interesting and intriguing individual, TJ, are you on with us?
I sure am. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, TJ, and this is Reatha Gray. Reatha, TJ.
Good morning, TJ.
Good morning, Reatha. Thank you, folks, for having me on. It's a blessing. Thank you.
Well, sure enough, TJ, and want to thank you for coming on because I know you got a busy schedule. So you could just slow down and relax because you're on with Reatha and I, and like I say, this is like Eric's show, only in slow motion. We're just a couple retirees that are taking it slow and easy. But I guess you're not, though, right, TJ? You're always keeping moving and busy. So what's going on in your life, and what took TJ down the path that he's going down? Because you're into helping people get in shape, and you're a first responder. What kind of brought you into these fields?
That's a good question. Interesting enough, I've been training with law enforcement, military, and first responders a little over 20 years. Our team went to work on a project, Jim, roughly maybe 13 years ago. We wanted to design a training system that would keep our law enforcement and first responders at their mental and physical second to none, and how to keep them in the best condition they could possibly be in. So we designed it. This took a long time, but again, we designed a training system that could not only be used by a first responder, but it can be used by any human being in the world. It's a self-spotting system. It's done in a team setting. And it's just phenomenal, to be honest with you. So as we were traveling the nation putting together this training system, Jim, everywhere we would go, when we were done training with the first responders, the law enforcement officers, the athletes, there was always a group of their children with friends that were at the training session, so to speak. And when we were done, they would always ask us the same question: "Hey, that looks fun. Looks pretty amazing. Can we try it?" And as we were standing there, our response was always the same: absolutely. So we would put their kids, maybe 4, 8, 12 of them at a time, on this training system. And, Jim, we always stay in the town that we're visiting, usually about 3 days. So when we would be done training these kids, the following day we would get a phone call saying, "Hey, would you guys mind coming back? We now have 50 kids that want to come in and give this thing a go." So what happened, Jim, is it became very obvious to us quickly that this was the perfect gathering point. The youth were not only excited to come, but they were telling their friends to come. So what we did is we put together a program. It's now the top program in the nation, assembled from the law enforcement leaders across the country to teach our kids how to become and how to remain safe. how to really teach them a platform on anti-bullying, suicide awareness, and well-being. And it's all done around building a strong character, just really infusing in the kids of this country the importance of making good decisions and building and maintaining a strong character. And it just took off from there. The results have been profound, and I'm just humbled to be a part of it, to be honest with you.
So you have
how many days? How many days are the children actually engaged in the program?
Okay, that's a great question. What we do, Reatha, is it's a 15-week program. So we have with Safer Schools Foundation, and I'll say this while I'm thinking about it. Anybody that's listening that wants to see who we are, you can go to saferschoolsfoundation.org, and you can see who we are. The reason what we do is, it is our goal, and it's been our team's goal from day one, that there's not a student, not a youth in this entire nation that will not have access to this program. So whenever we get a school or a facility that says, you know what, this is amazing, the impact is profound, they contact our grant writer, our fundraiser out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. His name is Manuel Gutierrez. He's just a fantastic guy. We raise the funding, and we donate our program to the school. It's never been about money, and it never will be. It's about reaching our youth. So it's a 15-week program, Reatha, and the students go through it. We deliver the entire system. We bring in the exercise equipment. There's a study guide that goes with it. Our entire team actually flies in from across the nation. We go spend the entire day, and we teach the entire staff, the local law enforcement. We teach our program. And when we leave, they have the workbook, they have the study guide, they have everything they need to run this program. Besides that, they have 24/7 access to myself and our entire team of law enforcement trainers across the nation. We don't just fly in and leave. I've never had a desire to have a cookie-cutter program, so to speak. There's a lot of programs out there. There's a lot of them that are good. I'm not demeaning any program. Let's be honest here. There is a lot of youth in our nation that are so lost. There are so many youth that are so good young people. They just need guidance and they need direction. And that's what this program is. So it's a 15-week program. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's what I was going to ask you, TJ, is what do you see out there? I mean, when you're talking about youth, what's your age real quick? What are the ages you're working with?
I'll tell you what, Jim, I've trained, we work with youth as young as 10 years old all the way through college. We start with them as young. You can't reach them young enough. And that's the thing about this self-spotting system. It's profound. You can train 4 United States law enforcement officers on it in 24 minutes, and they're going to receive the greatest physical conditioning of their life. It's been done 1,000 times. When they step off, we can bring 4 of their children in, ranging from 10 years old to 15. Obviously, the training changes a little bit, but it's a self-spotting system. It has no cables, no moving plates, no weights. And these kids get on here, and what's happening is they are all of a sudden within about 3 minutes, and no exaggeration, it does not take 3 minutes. All of a sudden, these kids are motivating one another, and they're working as a team. And pretty soon, you're watching kids that wouldn't even talk to each other in the high school or the middle school hallways. They might avoid each other, never really know each other. Pretty soon, they're coming back week after week. They're building friendships, and all of a sudden, you got kids that are encouraging one another. Kids that might be in a bullying situation, all of a sudden, not bullying one another, but uplifting one another. It's changing communities, is what it's doing, and it's awesome.
From the exercise and the counseling and so on and so forth, what are you seeing when you run across these kids? The main concerns that you're seeing, is it kind of like they're drug issues with them, or they're stress issues with the young kids, or what do you see that kind of stands out?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a couple of things that really stand out right now, especially in the last year that we just had. There's a lot of kids that, it's never really changed, I don't think, Jim, from when we were young. Kids we've always looked for acceptance to be a part, and kids just they may not come out and say it, but Jim, bottom line, kids need and they want to be loved. It's no different than you. It's no different than I. It's no different than Reatha. We all need to be loved and a part of something. So what I'm finding out now, we're seeing a huge thing is that schools closed and sports are closed, and kids are looking to be involved in something. But you know what? The sad part is they're finding things that are not in their best interest to be involved in. And it's a sad thing. And when we get our program into a situation, just for an example, part of our program, one of the training tiers that we have is called Cops and Kids Bridging the Gap. So I want you to visualize this. Every week, the local law enforcement officers, they rotate, and they come into the school at a set hour, and they train on this equipment with the kids. And here's what's happening. These law enforcement officers are coming in, and in a matter of about 2 to 3 sessions, I have law enforcement officers that email and call me continually saying, "You're not going to believe what's happened." I said, "Tell me." And they said, "Man, these kids that when we'd see them on the streets and they would disrespect us or they would have nothing to do with us, these are the same kids they're training with on a weekly basis on this program. And all of a sudden, there's a relationship and a respect being built." And Officer Winter from Olympia, Washington told me, he says, "You're not going to believe it, but this is keeping us safer on the streets because these kids are all of a sudden seeing that, you know what, we're husbands and we're wives, we're moms and we're dads. We're no different than they are, and we're actually on their side." And it's profound. So it's awesome.
They had something like that with the police got in the hip-hop dancing and stuff with some of these groups, and they started partnering up, and they found out that they have, just like you're talking about, they're people like anybody else. And so now we're going to jump over to the first responders, which I was in that category. I was a fireman in Chicago, suburb there. And what do you see there? Because one of the issues I saw was stress and drinking and so on, sometimes with some of the people. And what are you seeing out here with the first responders?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing, unfortunately and sadly enough, I'm seeing a lot of time symptoms of PTSD. To be honest with you, even officers that are active duty and on the job. We have a program that we actually are getting ready to possibly work alongside AMVETS of California. We created it just because of the overwhelming number of officers and even military veterans that. And again, there's many good programs out there, but for some reason. These many good programs are not touching upon the effects and really the solution. So we designed a program that's called T11-1. Goes along with this exercise piece. We have first responders that'll come in that are missing 2 legs, and they can still roll their wheelchair up to this thing. They work out on it. 30 minutes of exercise, and the endorphin volcano that goes off in the brain, the feel-good chemicals is just overwhelming. And then they sit down and they have a 30-minute educational and research, just a class, so to speak, really diving in and talking to one another to deal with it. And I see it with first responders daily. They feel, Jim, I hate to say, a lot of them feel defeated. They feel like their own communities kind of have gone against them just because of all the social media and everything that you see on stuff that's just always such a negative blast. Yeah.
And my dad was
is this a program that takes place during their work hours or after work? Does it come through their enforcement agency?
Yeah, Reatha, good question. And you know what we did is we designed this program to where we leave it up to the individual community and the school with the full understanding. Everybody's schedules are different. I was up training a SWAT team up in Washington State. This has been a number of years ago now. And long story short, their chief of police gave their police department the full green light to where they come into the schools on their work shift. So they rotate. They come in and they spend an hour with the students once a week. And we teach 7 training tiers, Reatha. Like I said, a big one is part of the Enough is Enough, the Voice Against Bullying. We talk to them about social media, cyber safety and awareness, situational awareness, safety and security. But the program can be run, it's perfect for during school, after school, weekends. There's no wrong time to do it. The biggest thing is it's a 1-hour program. You can do it once a week. It's designed for a minimum of once a week. We have students that want to come every day. It is just something that these kids so look forward to. What I love about it is it's built around building strong character. Every week is focused on a strong character trait. If we give every youth, every officer, every teacher, every adult the focus that week of focusing for the next 7 days on that certain character trait, and then we come back and we talk about that next week. And the results are, I'm not too man enough to admit, I've cried a number of times when I hear the results. It just overwhelms my heart with joy. I'm hearing good decisions being made. kids that are choosing not to join a gang because of it. It's just good stuff. There's
it's
nothing
amazing
good that comes from it.
It's amazing what you're doing. Nothing but good. Exactly. Nothing but good comes out of it. It's all positive. And, just real quick, I want to touch on your equipment is pretty nice. I mean, we met years ago at the was it basketball stadium there, I believe it was, and you had all your equipment outside there, right?
Center in Los Angeles.
Staples
the
Center,
equipment
yeah.
is second to none.
Well, you got first-class equipment.
This equipment's incredible. And what I love about this thing, Jim, as I said, this is set up it was purposely designed to be done in a small group setting, so we can train anywhere very comfortably. And if they order the extra large unit, up to 50 students at a time, smoothly. So you get kids from all different backgrounds. I just love it. You'll get kids that, like I said, some are coming into the same class that are very, very wealthy. Some are coming in that, quite honestly, they really don't know what tomorrow holds. And you're just watching an amazing thing. After about 3 weeks of this thing, these kids are not only there every week, but they're becoming friends with each other. They're encouraging one another. And this is what this nation needs. We have enough division. We have enough division. We need to come together, and that's, I guess, the bottom line. That is why this thing was designed, and not only that, but it's working, and we're watching it.
Oh yeah. So where are you heading next, TJ? I mean, for the group and the exercise equipment and the kids, where are you heading next?
As soon as the COVID restrictions lift, we have a powerful event coming down to Los Angeles. Actually, we're donating our entire system to Aeronautical Museum down there. When you did a trip, I met you on, Jim, down in Los Angeles. I trained an NFL veteran down there, just a wonderful man. His name is Paul Pratt. He played with the Detroit Lions, and he's going to actually be one of the main trainers for the program down in Los Angeles. So we're hoping to have 2 programs the same week. When we get done donating the program down there to the Aeronautical Museum, working with the kids, we're going to hopefully donate the program to AMVETS of California. And open up T11-1, working with our veterans and first responders and dealing with the traumatic effects of PTSD.
Well, I'm in, TJ. I'll bring the camera down there and interview you and film your equipment and everything. So I'm with you.
That sounds great.
And I was going to say, TJ, if there's anyone interested in being involved in the program that you're already going to be bringing here, or if they want to be involved in the program anywhere, how do they get in touch and find out when you'll be in their area?
Yeah, very simple. Reatha, we go to our website, saferschools.foundation.org. And I'll say that again, our website, saferschools.foundation.org. All of our information is on there. You can see our law enforcement team. You can see who we've partnered up with. And at the very bottom of the page, you will see contact information. You can call the cell phone number on there. You can email us, and we always respond within 24 hours. And we love to talk with people, and if somebody's interested, we go to work on their behalf. We raise the funding, we get them the program, and we let this program do the good that it's intended to do.
I've got a program I'm going to hook you up with, and we're going to talk later, maybe later today, and I'm going to hook you up with something. We'll talk about it.
That sounds
awesome.
Great.
Yeah, and we got to get Reatha on that exercise equipment. She's sitting around the house there, not getting out doing her auditions like she used to, right, Reatha?
It's true. I need to exercise.
Well,
and
I know the perfect program.
I was going to say, this program's for boys and girls, men and women.
I'll tell you what, it is for every human being out there that has the breath of life in them. I'm going to share a story with you real quick. My wife, and God love her, I've been married almost 25 years, and when I first started this training, you would tell maybe 1 or 2 people, and they would go tell 50 people literally within 30 days. It's that good. So my wife used to work at a bank, and she told everybody that comes through the drive-thru. And I'll tell you what, I used to have women, and I just want to share this quick story. I had one lady that used to come with me with horrible hip pain. She says, TJ, I can't sleep at night. My hips hurt, body hurts. She goes, do you think this thing will help me? I said, I don't think so. I said, I can guarantee you. I said, I don't think so. I know so. Within 65, maybe 75 days, she came up to me like a kid at Christmas. She says she no longer has pain in her hips. She's sleeping through the night. And I mean the stories of people that are flushing their pain medications down the toilet because of this training. People are getting off of pain medications because of this. What we have designed here I mean, it took over 10 years to design the training methodology itself. But once it was done, I'll tell you what, if you come to the training session with Jim, and he's already committed to coming, so I know he's a man of his word and he'll be there. Reatha, you come down, and I'll personally train you, and I tell you right now, you'll be hooked. And this will be something you'll do for the rest of your life. I guarantee.
Hey, there you go, Reatha. How about that, huh?
All right.
All right.
All right.
Well, that sounds good, TJ. I love it, and I want to thank you for coming on with us. And I totally support what you do, and I want to see it. What's the date on that again?
You know, Jim, we actually, like the rest of the nation, we just have to wait as kind of see how COVID.
Got to wait.
out.
Okay, I got you. All right. Yeah, we got to wait and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
all right.
What we're
So we'll
rock and roll.
We'll be in touch, and
okay.
I want to have you back on and see what's going on. Keep up to date with everything. This is amazing. Congratulations on everything you've done. It's helped so many people.
That sounds great. God bless you guys. Stay safe, and I look forward to speaking and seeing with you sooner than later.
All right.
All
good.
right.
You,
God bless you, TJ.
Reatha, we got to get you
Bye-bye.
on that machine. We got to get you on the machine. What do you think?
Sounds great to me.
Yep. We're gonna exercise is the key, though. But with that, let's do a commercial and see what's going on with Carmelita's Corner later.
All right.
All righty.
Welcome to EZWayBroadcasting.com, your one-stop shop getaway to corporate Hollywood. EZWay specializes in red carpets and will enhance your experience. EZWayBroadcasting.com is top-ranked on Alexa and houses the EZWay TV Film On channel, podcast radio station, and EZWay magazine. Learn more about the beautiful EZWay Angels and follow their events calendar. For more information, visit EZWayBroadcasting.com and click on About Us or call 424-209-9290. Don't forget to subscribe to the website and follow EZWay on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for amazing updates and opportunities. Remember, that's letter E and letter Z, because, well, we do it the easy way.
Looking to grow and align your brand with celebrities and other established brands? Your brand is all about your entire customer experience. Everything from your logo, your website, your social media experiences, the way you answer the phone, to the way your customers experience your staff. So why not let us help you get your branding right from the start? At EZWay Promotions, we are a new class of professionals providing first-class online branding, promotion, social media, website development, editing, graphic design, public relations, media, SEO, and online advertising to give your business the competitive edge to stand out. Our highly experienced experts will not only help you increase your online presence, but also provide you with a proven online strategy to help you increase the value of your company and make acquiring new customers easier. So what are you waiting for? Contact us today and let us help you grow your business exponentially.
For more information, contact 424-209-9290 or visit EZWayPromotions.com. That's letter E, letter Z. We also encourage you to like our Facebook page at EZWay Promotions.
You are about to experience Carmelita's Corner. Carmelita's song Rosebud made it to the top 40s with the Godfather of Soul, James Brown. She's the founder of the Rose Breast Cancer Society. Now here's your host, Carmelita Pittman.
Well, hello there, Radio Land. I hope you're feeling grand. I am. I've got a wonderful guest coming your way today, and her name is Audrey Angel Sherborne. Most of her friends know her as Angel, and she professionally went by the name of Lee Angel, which was the name that she danced by around the world. And she's also associated with the late and great Little Richard, and of course, he doesn't need that much introduction, household name, but the relationship that she has had with Little Richard over the years is a story unto itself. Just amazing, a wonderful, wonderful friendship and love. And I'm going to let her talk about her love. But before I do that, I want to sing her a happy birthday because tomorrow is her birthday. So Marilyn Monroe style, we go, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, angel, happy birthday to you. And now, Stevie, happy birthday to you. Yeah. We got to get a little bit of Stevie in there. And good morning and happy birthday, my darling. How are you doing this morning?
Feeling great.
You know what? We did great to get you up this morning, didn't we?
I was awake.
I gave
I
you
made
your
sure
wake-up call this morning.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I know you're accustomed to that showbiz life, you know, where most entertainers you don't want to call them before 11 o'clock in the morning. If you don't want to get chewed out, you know.
Yeah.
But I know that you were expecting this interview today, and I'm so happy that you're here with us to celebrate. And you're looking good. Last year we celebrated together while we still could before this pandemic came out. Oh my God, I don't know when it's going to go away, but
when people start praying.
Yes, well, if it didn't do anything else, it sure has shaken up the world, and there's a lot of more people praying than that were praying before. So, if nothing else, it's brought that much of us together, you know.
And we can go out and buy toilet paper.
Yeah, you know what? I got a funny email from H.B. Barnum. He said, I need a roll of toilet paper. And I looked at this photograph of, I was beginning to think, oh, my God, H.B., he should have all kinds of toilet paper. But he sent this photograph when he said he was down to one roll. You should have seen how big the roll was. The roll was like about the size of a tire. It was huge. Oh my God!
I know the shamans just brought out one roll of 6 rolls of toilet paper.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, it's one thing that. It is a luxury item, really. Believe it or not, in some countries they don't have toilet paper. That kind of reminds me.
I worked in Germany, and my choice of toilet paper was what they give you for toilet paper in Germany was like sandpaper.
Mm-hmm.
And I started having to buy boxes of Kleenex.
Yeah. When I was in Mexico, everybody has humor wherever you go. And the joke was told to me in Spanish, but basically what the premise was that there were 2 people who were trying to get into America from Mexico. And the authorities happened to come across them. But one of them had to go, do his business, so he had to find the nearest tree. So he wasn't there when the other 2 were confronted by the authorities. And so, anyway, one of them, when they were asked, said to the question, "Where are your papers?" Well, the other person who was missing came up, and they said, well, he doesn't need any papers. He uses rocks. Yeah, well, to each his own. Speaking of bathroom stories, when I was in China, this was many years ago during the 80s. I was very fortunate to have a trip that was sponsored by my mother, which took me from one end of China to the other end along the Marco Polo Silk Route. And so I was with a group of Americans where we were actually the first Americans to go to certain places in remote places in China. And a lot of people are not aware, but there are over 250 minority tribes in China. Just because they're Chinese, they're not all the same. They have different customs. They have different forms of languages, different styles of clothing, and so on. And it was really quite interesting. We went to a place called Zhuzaigu, and like I said, we were the first Americans there, and we did stop along the way to other countries. But, when we were, being hosted by some of the locals, I remember asking, because it's our custom here in America to ask if you can use the restroom, right? And
yes.
The host, the translator actually for the host told me, says, well, there is no bathroom. And so that's at the point where I had to also look for the nearest tree and hope nobody was looking. But the thing was, is it wasn't really quite comfortable because the cows were nearby. And I just was hoping they didn't get too curious, while I was busy. But, we could go on and on about bathroom stories. I know that you didn't come on my show to talk about that, and but it is a conversational show. So,
Carmelita, I have a good one to add to that one.
Okay.
I flew from here to New York City.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I got off the plane, I was doing the dance.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got around the corner to get to the ladies' room, the line was out the door.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, and there comes one man in, one man out. I walked into the men's room and said, zip it up, woman coming through.
Well, that reminds me of the time when I was downtown, and there was a huge event, and there was no facilities really available. And so I really needed to use the restroom. So there was somebody who said, well, I'll stand by, a very nice gentleman who said that he would guard the door while I used the men's room. And then I heard somebody say, when he told them, well, you can't go in now, there's a lady in there. Then they said, well, what does she look like?
I still remember that line was all the way from the ladies' room, baggage pickup, and I had to go.
Yes, well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
I couldn't find a tree, and I'm looking at one man walking the men's room and another man. No line.
Yeah.
That's when I walked in and said, "Zip it up." A lady coming through.
Well, Angel, looks like we could have a whole chapter in your book about bathroom stories. But tell us something else. We got to get off this subject. One thing we have to do, and I know you love the higher power. I remember going actually to your baptism, and little Richard sitting next to me in the church aisle, as you were actually baptized. And I know that you love the Lord. And that is one of the things that is so beautiful about you, is, that light that you keep on around you. Because I think that's where we have such a great connection. I feel like you're a sister to me from another mother. We just have a lot in common in many ways.
Yeah. Listen, if I didn't go to Sunday school, I didn't get dinner because I couldn't sit down. You remember the Southern switches?
Oh, yeah.
I wore a few of them out.
Oh, my goodness.
But when I think of myself today, if it wasn't for my stepmother, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Mhm. Well, she sounded like a very good woman from what you've told me before.
You know, it never came out. But in the late 30s, early 40s, black women were butchered. They were given, so they couldn't have children. My stepmother was one of those ladies.
Yes, it's really sad. Yes, I remember you telling me that story. Now, your actual mother was a Caucasian.
She was English.
But she was English, and you know you do still have that slight English accent. And I love to listen to you speak. I love the way you speak. But, you know, it's really quite sad, that portion of American history where many black women, as you said, were butchered so that they would not be able to reproduce children. And I think that is so tragic. There's another thing that happened, you know, it's called epigenetics. It also occurred. It's another part of a dark chapter of our history, you know, that's connected to that. But, you know, we don't really have a whole lot of time, and I do want to give a shout-out to Charles Connor. You and I both spoke to him last night. He's 87 years young, right?
86.
86, you're well pushing 87. But, you know, I think a lot of people do not realize what he did for rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
And he did come on my show some time ago as a guest, and I remember him talking about what gave him the inspiration for that drum beat, because he would listen to the railroad, the choo-choo train, you know, and he picked that up. And if anybody really listens to Little Richard's music, they would hear Charles Connor on the drums with that beat, and he made that beat famous. But tell the audience about Charles's role in you being introduced to Little Richard. Tell them what happened when Little Richard looked out the window.
I was born in Savannah, Georgia.
Mhm.
And I hated Little Richard's music.
Oh boy.
So everybody in high school knew I was not going to the concert that night. In steps my stepmother. My stepmother would always tell me when I was going to school that there would be a bill and money for me to go downtown and pay it, which I hadn't planned on doing when I left the school. So now I'm going downtown to pay the bill. And some guy came over to me and says, Little Richard wants to meet you. Does he know I'm a girl? My reaction. But I went. And now it's 64 years later.
Well, I thought the beauty of the story is that you said that Charles Connor was in the room with Little Richard.
Oh, yeah, Charles Connor was in the room when Richard saw me walking down the street. And I just found this out lately. Charles told me he never saw a man fall in love so fast in his life.
Well, you know, your story is so amazing. And, you know, the fact that your friendship, I mean, because it is a friendship, endured so long. 64 years. I mean, some people haven't been on Earth that long, you know. And the thing you said that before he left the planet, he left the earthly stage, he said something so significant to you. Can you tell the audience what he told you before he left?
A year ago on my birthday, Richard called me to wish me a happy birthday. And the last words I heard from Richard was, I love you.
Now, isn't that beautiful? And I know that's something that will stay with you forever.
Especially on my birthdays.
Exactly. Well, listen, Angel, I have one eye on the clock, and time goes so fast when you're having fun. And I always enjoy having you on as a guest. But we're going to have to hit the road. Like I always say, I like getting on my horse and riding off into the sunset, and you can choose whichever way you would like to leave. But I want to thank you for coming on Carmelita's Corner on the Easy Network, Broadcasting Network, and you're always welcome as a guest here.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
And we got to finish my book.
Yes, we must.
Carmelita is writing my book.
Okay. With no secrets here, folks. Okay.
I love you, and I'll speak with you later.
I love you too, hon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Smartphone, cell phone, PC, Mac, tablet, iPad. That's right. It's tech time. Well, the big tech companies have been in the news over the last few days and weeks. There's been a lot of controversy about checks and tweets and Facebook posts being sent out that were said to incite people to riot, to cause the run on the Capitol building, and has caused for several of people's social media platforms being taken down. Now, there has been a law in place that said that tech companies cannot be sued for the content on the tech companies. So they pretty much needed to self-censor themselves. They have been censoring themselves. A lot of people say they've been censoring unfairly. They admittedly lean to the left, and they admittedly probably censor a little to the left. They've recently taken down President Trump's Twitter page, and I'm not sure his Facebook page, but they've taken down posts from conservatives. They've taken down conservative sites, and recently a lot of the conservatives moved to another platform. Well, the big tech companies have kind of formed an agreement that they would not honor the new platform that these people have moved to, so that ultimately it will cause the site to shut down because people can't access the app to be able to communicate with it. Now, we're going to have to make up our minds in America. Either we're going to do heavy censorship like the communist countries do, and they literally block off certain things from being seen in their country. And in a sense, Facebook and Twitter and those other social media sites have been doing the same thing, because if you don't send out the tweet or send out the Facebook post, it just sits on a server and nobody sees it. That's a form of censorship. We've got a problem right now, and I don't know how it's going to be solved, but I believe that one of you out there in the Twitter sphere and Facebook sphere and all of these places, that with all that brain power, somebody knows how there can be a fair way of limiting some of the propaganda that may be from foreign dissidents, that might be from people who are in countries that hate Americans, people that are running scams on people. All of this stuff is going to have to be censored. What's the answer? I don't know. But for right now, keep your tweets clean. We've got enough division in this nation right now. Try to just stay neutral, and I just beg everyone, love one another. Loving one another will get us through this. And someone earlier had said we need to pray. We need to pray and love one another. and we will get through this. So no matter what side that you stand on as far as the censorship is concerned or how you feel about social media, pray, love one another. And one of you geniuses, you come up with an answer to a solution to this problem. That's my tech time for today. Let's move on to Jim's Gems.
Okay, baby boomers, it's time for Gems from Jim.
Yes, be prepared for retirement. Some of the tips that I found: be prepared for early. Some of the concerns they had was being prepared for early and unplanned retirement. Some people are giving their retirement slips a little earlier than they plan on. Deal with debt ASAP. Okay, prepare a health insurance strategy. Maximize your health savings account. Know your retirement income options. Practice retirement spending now. Do not overspend. Stay healthy. If you stay healthy, you reduce those costs of the health situations. Put a solid budget together, focus, and stay with it. All right, stop spending and start savings. These are just some of my things that I've gone through. Pay bills in advance. Okay, one of my plans is jump on top of it. Sit down with a pencil and paper and go over it, you know, what the bills are. I get a notebook, and in a notebook you have left column what comes in, the right column is what goes out. And you add them all up and see how they balance out. Hopefully the left column will be a little bit more. Another thing is, we talked about this before, you got your basic monthly bills that come in. On the credit cards, you try to hit them or redo them so you get lower interest rates. Concentrate and focus. That's the key. Focus on those credit card bill for wherever it's at. You know, you say you got one at a certain department store. Well, stop going out spending. You don't have to spend anymore. It accumulates too much stuff in your house. So you just focus on not making the payment. Forget the basic payment. It's a waste of time. Make that basic, but add to it. Keep adding to it as much as you can, and knock off the bigger cards, and then you go on to the next one. Before you know it, if you're really focused on it, those cards will be gone. And then you take your monthly utility bills, gas, electric, water, whatever, and if your bill, say, $50 for, say, a water bill or a gas bill, never pay the $50. Pay maybe the $50 plus another 50%, so you pay $75. Or if you can afford it, pretend your water bill is $100 a month, and that's it. It's $100, you have to pay it. And you just put it in your head automatically. That's what the bill is, and if the water company contacts you and say, hey, your water bill doubled, well, you might complain, but you'll pay it, and you'll get used to it. Well, if you do that, if you could pay, say you can afford it. Say you can afford a $50 bill, and then you throw an extra $50 on it, and because you cut back on a lot of the miscellaneous spending. So you take your $50 bill, you make $100 a month, and you get used to it. You just pay it. Well, after time, after paying that extra $100, that's an extra $50 you paid for in 12 months. Goes by fast. It goes by like a blink of an eye. All of a sudden, you wake up in the morning and you did that with your gas bill, which could be $30 to $80 a month, whatever, $100, depending if you have the furnace blasting all the time. And you do that to several of your bills. You just get used to it. And you just double up on the utility bills. And before you know it, 12 months has gone by, and you are now 1 year ahead on your bills, on your basic bills that come in every month. If they're not too big. I mean, if you have a $250, $300 electric bill, you're not going to be doubling up on that probably. But you can add to it. Just add maybe 25%, maybe 50% to it. And, you know, before you know it, you're at least 2 or 3 months ahead. And that you could do easy. And you go on from there. And that's one of the programs I have. And you make it, I have a couple like that, they're not monthly, but they're a pain in the neck, you know, like a lake bill. I belong to a lake, so you got to pay that every 6 months. And, you know, the waste management, that's not a monthly bill, but, oh, geez, there's that bill again. It comes in every 3 months. So you start paying those every month. instead of every 3 or 6 months. And that you can get ahead really quick, a year in advance, when you start adding to that. Then you don't have to worry about that bill coming in. It comes in once a year, just pay it. That's done for the year. Utilities are done for the year. So it's easy to get it. Sounds like a lot, but it's easy to get a year ahead on your bills if you just take a little extra and put it towards it. And anyway, I had another report for you. I'm going to give you that next month. It's different investments for baby boomers, but I think we're out of time for that. It's 11 o'clock, so it's time to move on. EZWAY, walloffame.com, and Eric's built up the EZWAY Wall of Fame. It's going like, it's just amazing how it's spreading. The EZWAY fam is spreading. People just in numerous categories of numerous professions. You got writers, speakers, entertainers, top CEOs, investment strategists, health people. A great family to be with. It's just a group of good people. And like I said, the EZWAY Wall of Fame and the EZWAY Golden Gala. Reatha, you know about that. The awards virtual Golden Gala. That's being put together and tuned up. And
on the Wall of Fame, you don't have to worry about censorship because it's all about the love, people. It's all about the love
good people.
In the EZWAY fam.
Reatha, I was just wondering, were you a flower child back in the 60s? Because you do hit the love thing a lot and happy. And I could see you walking around in the 60s with the flower and in your hair and the flower dress, right? You remember that?
Absolutely. I was definitely a hippie. I was a surfer. I'm a California girl. I did all the trendy stuff in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Then I came to myself in the 90s.
See, you guys, a lot of you guys may have remembered the term Woodstock from books and so on and so forth, or maybe a video. Reatha and I were there. Maybe not there, but we remember. We remember.
But I did go to that type of an event in California, and it was a blast. They were almost starting to have it with Coachella, but now it's shut down for a while. But yeah, I was definitely a hippie.
We grew up with Frank Sinatra and Elvis, and we remember when the Beach Boys and the Beatles were brand new groups. They weren't even out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There was no Beach Boys yet. There was no, Elvis was, we weren't before Elvis, but we remember the Beatles, and I remember the first time I heard the Beatles, I thought, why would anybody name their group the Beatles? They're not going anywhere. A little bug. Well, needless to say, they did all right.
My first concert was the Rolling Stones. I remember Mick Jagger saying, "I don't want to be 70 years old singing Satisfaction, but we still want to hear Satisfaction." What can I say?
Yeah, and a lot of those groups, a lot of them people want them to come back. My first concert was, you probably never heard of it, a group called The Mountain and Joe Cocker, and I didn't particularly want to go to see, but my brother wanted me to go with him. So it was Joe Cocker and The Mountain, and I actually found one of their albums the other day, Joe Cocker album. And
I remember Joe Cocker. I don't remember when he was with The Mountain, but I remember Joe Cocker.
Yeah, and I saw some of those guys at the Soldiers Field. They're in the back room just hanging out. Who was the guy, the main star of, was it Rolling Stones or who was the main guy in the Rolling Stones back then?
Mick Jagger. Mick has always been the head of the lead singer for the Rolling Stones.
Maybe it was. It could have been. Probably the Rolling Stones. One of those groups was in the back. It was a long, long time ago. Hardly remember. And they were just sitting around having lunch. But yeah, a lot of these groups they still go out and you remember the Righteous Brothers. Bill Medley still goes out and about. And but anyway,
quite a bit alike.
Yeah, I used to hear that all the time. I met Bill several times. Real nice guy. Went to his little deal with his kids over there. In fact, a good friend of mine lived across the street from Bobby Hatfield. And but anyway, it's fun. Yeah, we remember those days. Those were the good old days in the 50s and the 60s, and the cars and the music we had. It was just a lot of fun. But
yeah,
I guess
I had
that
a 1967 GTO. It was actually my mother's car, but I would race it like it was mine.
Now, do you remember what GTO stands for?
Grand Theft? No.
Grand Theft Auto? No. Gran Turismo Oldham Getty.
That's true. I remember that now.
Yeah, Gran Turismo. Yeah, I had the, I don't know how I had so many cars, the 58 Impala and the 396 Chevelle and the Hemis, all that stuff. We had a big car club called the Coachman. I started with about 5 guys, turned into about 40, and we used to go to the raceways, Oswego and places like that. It was fun. The quarter-mile races. They had that out here, you know. They had Orange County Raceway. I don't know if you remember that.
I was a street racer. So we used to street race on when the Santa Monica Freeway first got built. It was wide open freeway, and we would do 120 down the 10 freeway down to Bundy where it stopped.
Well, this is being recorded, Reese, so I don't know if you want to say that.
Past the statute of limitations, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that went on behind the. There was a big hamburger place they had called Skip's Fiesta, and it was a popular place on a big intersection. And there was a time so many people were there, they blocked off the intersection and they did races there. Crazy. And, this was back in 65, I think. But, yeah, they used to race in the streets or behind the industrial complexes and, like the movies.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that movie, was American Graffiti? And, all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
it was just like that. Matter of fact, one of the streets that I used to race on was Exposition Boulevard. And many, many, many years later, I lived on that same strip of street where we used to race. And I thought, that's horrible what we did to those people.
So did you actually have a fast car yourself?
I had the GTO.
You actually had a GTO, but did it have a 6-cylinder?
Oh no. We got the trick was me and my brother went to the car dealership with my mother. My mother knew nothing about cars. She went to buy a Le Mans, which was the 6-cylinder, slow-moving version of the GTO. Well, we got there, and between us and the salesperson, we convinced her that she needed the GTO. She needed the bigger engine. She needed this car. And when she brought it home, my stepfather was like, you can't handle this car. And I thought, but I can. So I did actually drive the GTO. She only kept it for about a year, though, because it was just more car than she could handle.
Well, the engine, I don't think it had a 6 in there, but the engine option was a big 8-cylinder. I think it was a 455 cubic inch, and that's what they had back then. They had the 396, the 420. You remember the songs, the Beach Boy songs, in that.
Right.
The 396, the 427s. And all those big blocks, and now they have small.
I had the big engine, and like I said, the streets were a lot more wide open back in those days, and so you didn't have to worry about all this traffic or hitting people. But we had a good time.
400 horses that thing delivered. That was a quick car. I give you credit for doing it.
Well, we talked my mother into all kinds of cars. When I was even younger, we talked her into a 57 Chevy. So my mother knew nothing about cars.
Chevys had the really cool 283, and then of course the 327s and the big blocks, and then you go into big 427s and that. But yeah, the GTO is the Gran Turismo Oldham Getty, and if you wanted to go Pontiac or the one that used to beat everybody, and you get the Chevy. We used to bore them and stroke them and beef up the horsepower. You put new headers on and things like that, new rear end, You couldn't go on the freeway very well with the high torque, but out of the hole it was really quick. But the one that would beat everybody is if you went to a Dodge dealer and you bought a Hemi. That's what's called hemispherical heads. The valve covers had the plugs go right in them. And it was a 426 cubic inch with 455 horse. Those things just were the fastest of everything. And that's the only time.
My friend that grew up down the street from me, her father was into those muscle cars, and he had a Mustang that was muscle, and he had a Hemi. Beautiful cars, big engines.
Wow. Well, a lot of those cars, I must have had a dozen. I don't know how I had so many cars in the high school era, but they some of them were really quick, and then I had some interesting ones. Like I had a 65 T-Bird. The interior looked like something out of a spaceship. That was really cool.
I had a 65 T-Bird, but I believe it was in the 80s when I had my 65 T-Bird. I always wanted one. And so when I was able, I went and bought one restored, and it was a great car. Like I said,
Wasn't that
like
interior amazing? Oh, man, that interior
it felt like you could live in there. Yeah, it felt like you could live in there.
Rolled and pleated seats and everything. But, some of those cars today, like I got rid of a couple, and they're really valuable now. I can't believe what a 58 convertible Impala and the 396, and then I see now they're getting pretty good money for them. That's an investment too. We're going to talk about investments in one of the shows here coming up. Well, I'll tell you, that's one. But you need room. I had a 38 Studebaker Commander before our time. It was mint condition, like a brand new car. That I wish I kept. But on the other hand, what would you do with it? Where are you going to put it?
And you have to insure it.
Yeah,
you got to put it somewhere.
Yeah. But with that, I guess we're kind of running out of time here. This is fun, a little nostalgia going back. And little did you know what you would own today, right? You got a Fiat. Little did you know back in '68, someday you would own a 2000.
I always wanted a Fiat. I wanted a Fiat. I've always wanted a Fiat. One of those little sport cars ones, not the ones like the one I have now, but the little convertible sports cars.
Oh,
those are really nice. But like you said, we need to move on. We will be back next Monday morning, 10 a.m. We will have interesting guests, I'm sure. And, of course, we will have Jim, who is always interesting and full of information.
We will rock and roll next Monday morning at 10 o'clock and get ready for all the broadcasts that are coming out on the EZWAY Wall of Fame. Go to EZWayWallOfFame.com. And so till then, Reatha, I guess it's sayonara. 10
it's
o'clock Monday
adios,
morning.
Avita saying, hasta luego. And we'll see you next week.
Keep moving, keep the faith. Radio Boomers Live signing out.
Are you looking to accelerate your influence? EZWayWall.com is a new site that allows you to promote yourself, business, brand, and your products as an influencer. You can share your ideas, receive comments, promote and brand yourself with the power of affiliation. Associate yourself and your brand with the power players of today to become leaders of tomorrow. Come and join the EZWay Wall today. Sign up at wall.easywaybroadcasting.com or text.
Thank you for listening to Radio Boomers Live with your hosts, Reatha Gray, Star Betty White's Out There Rockers, and EZ's dad, Jim Zuley. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Radio Boomers Live. Radio Boomers Live is brought to you by the EZWay Broadcasting Network. That's the letter E, the letter Z, Broadcasting Network.